Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the next video on simplex method. So in this video we are going to solve LPP, that is linear programming problem by simplex method. Now in case of LPP or by simplex method, so we require three things. One is an objective function. So this is the objective function, and this objective function is bound by a set of constraints, and you have a variables which is called as a non-negative variables. Okay, so objective function, it may be maximization or it may be minimization type. So here it is a maximization. It depends on two variables x1 and x2. These two variables are non-negative. So this is very important in case of optimization or 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 by LPP. So generally speaking, in case of optimization or OR problem, we will be getting some variables. These variables will be either 0 or positive. It can never be negative. In that way, it is called as non-negative. So objective function is depends on two variables x1, x2. These two variables are non-negative variables, and it is bound by a set of constraints called as, that is constraint 1 and constraint 2. Now if you look at the constraint, so you have less than or equal to symbol. So this is the typical feature of a LPP or a simplex method. So objective function, constraint and a non-negative variable. How this can be solved? So this can be solved by converting inequality into equality. So this is the original equation or original problem given in the question. So we need to convert this into a standard form. To convert this into standard form, so which means I need to remove this inequality. I need to remove this inequality. Now if you take the first equation or first constraint, it says that 5x1 plus 10x2 is less than or equal to 60, which means the summation of these two are less than 60, which means I can add something here. So that it is equal to 60. Similarly, if you take the second constraint, 4x1 plus 4x2 less than or equal to 40, which means I need to add something here so that it is equal to 40. So this way the given LPP can be converted into a standard form of LPP. So in case of standard form of LPP, there will be no inequality, it will be in equality form. How that can be converted, you can see here. So I have added S1 and S2 here so that it is equal to 60 and 40, which I said earlier. So when you add something to the first and second constraint respectively, so it will be equal. So in the standard form, inequality is converted to equality. Since you have added S1, S2, so the same S1, S2 also should be represented in the objective function this way, like. So externally I have added S1, S2, therefore the same should be represented in the objective function. So original objective function depends on x1, x2. Artificially I added s1, s2, or externally I have added s1, s2 so that it is equal form. Since it is equal, since we have added externally, that should be represented with the coefficient as 0. So this coefficient is very important because these coefficients s1, s2 are given as 0, which means even if we get some values for S1, S2, that will not be affected. That will not affect the the objective function. So objective function will purely depends on x1, x2. So just for solving the problem, which means just for solving the problems, we have added S1, S2. This S1 and S2 are called as slack variables. So these slack variables can be used in case of less than or equal to inequality. Keep in mind, the slack variable should be used only for less than or equal to inequality, right? So after converting the given LPP into standard form, now we need to draw initial simplex table like this. Now in the initial simplex table, based on the objective function, so we have the variables x1, x2, s1, s2, because after adding s1, s2, the new objective function is here. So x1, x2, s1, s2 is here. Now what is this Cj represents? Cj represents the coefficient of the variables, coefficient of the x1, x2, that is a basic initial of the variables. So from the objective function x1 we have 6, for x2 we have 8, for s1 we have 0, for s2 we have 0. So based on the objective function, so we have covered the first row as well as the second row. Now what comes next? We need to bring in some of the basic variables. So originally we have x1 and x2 as the variable, and to convert inequality into equality we have added s1, s2. Therefore, to start the initial simplex table or to start the iterative process, we need to assume some of the variables as basic. Usually this slack will be taken as basic variables. Now this CBI stands for coefficient of the basic variable. So this is from the objective function. Out of this, these two are s1 and s2 are brought here as basic variable. Now again from the table, the coefficient of s1 is 0, which is here. Coefficient of s2 is 0, which is again here. So CBI stands for coefficient of the basic variable. Okay. And what next? Now from the constraint we need to fill the remaining values from the constraint. So the first row says that 5, 10, 1, 0 is taken from 5 for x1, 10 for x2, 1 for s1. There is no s2 here, which means 0 s2. So that's what it is mentioned here. That is what it is here. Now in the second row, we have 4 for x1, 4 for x2, and nothing for s1. So 0 s1. 0 s1 and 1 for s2, which is here. So 5, 10, 1, 0, 4, 4, 0, 1. So we need to fill the first and second row. Now the solution is 60 and 40, which is taken from here, the first constraint and from the second constraint. So in this way, we need to fill the contents of the initial simplex table. This is the initial simplex table. So first we need to find z of j. So what is z of j? So this is obtained by multiplying quotient of basic into the values in that particular column. It is 0 into 5 plus 0 into 4. 0 into 4, which is 0. That is, if you look at this thing, so 0 into 5 plus 0 into 4. Now in the second column, that is x2 column, so we need to multiply 0 into 10 plus 0 into 4. Again it is 0. That is, the 0 is multiplied with 10 here, the 0 is multiplied with 4 again here, so which is 0 again. So bring here. Now in the third S1 column, we have 0 into 1 plus 0 into 0, which is equal to 0. That is, 0 is multiplied with 1 and again the same 0 multiplied with 0. So we have 0 here. Now in the fourth one, that is S2 column, we have 0 into 0 plus 0 into 1, again 0. Bring it here. So 0 into 0, then 0 into 1. Now in the solution column, again we have zeros in the quotient of basic. So 0 into 60 plus 0 into 40, which amounts to 0 again here. So that is 0 multiplied with 60, 0 multiplied with 40. So there is a mistake here. So actually it should be 0 here, right? 0 here. After this, what we need to find? So we need to find Cj minus Z of j. Cj. What is Cj? So Cj is here. Cj is here. Okay. So 6 minus 0, it is 6 here. Now in the second column, x2 column, 8 minus 0, 8. 0 minus 0, 0 again. 0 minus 0, 0 again. Now the condition for optimality is, all the values of Cj minus Z of j should be less than or equal to 0 for maximization type. Since the given problem is a maximization type, so we need to check all the values of Cj minus Z of j as less than or equal to 0. If you look here, so this is 0 satisfying, but these two are positive values. But the condition says that, so we need to get 0 or negative value, but there are two positive values. Since the condition for optimality is not reached, therefore among the Cj minus Zj value, we need to look for the greatest value. This one. So 6, 8, 0, 0, greatest value 6. So this corresponds to here, that is x2 column. This corresponds to x2 column. So this is called as key column. Now in the key column, we have the elements 10 for the first constraint, 4 for the second constraint. Now in the ratio, what we need to do is, we need to divide the solution 60 by the elements in the key column. That is 60 by 10 for the first constraint, which amounts to 6. For the second constraint, solution is 40 and the value in the key column is 4. So 40 by 4, which is equal to 10. So in the solution, we need to look for the values. 6 and 10. Among the values, we need to select a lowest value in the ratio. So in the ratio column, we have 6 and 10. So among these two, 6 is the lowest. Therefore, this should be selected. So this is called as key row. Now the intersection of key column, that is x2, and key row. So key row is this one. That is S1 row, and this is called as pivot element. The intersection of key row and key column is called as pivot element, or it is called as key element. So this completes the first iteration. Now in the pivot element, so we have values as, as 10. Now in the second iteration, what we need to do is, this pivot element 10 should be brought as 1. So we need to bring the pivot element as 1. How we can bring the pivot element as 1? we'll discuss as the second iteration. In the second iteration. Okay. Now let me call this as first constraint. Let me call the first constraint as R1 for the sake of simplicity, and second constraint as R2. Second constraint as R2. Now what we need to do is this 10 should be brought as should be made as 1. So for that we need to go to the second iteration. So basically second iteration, since previously it is called as initial simplex table, therefore I can say this is iteration 1. So in the second iteration, so let me call this as R3 and this as R4. Why? Because so already we have taken R1 belongs to the first constraint, R2 as the second constraint. Therefore, I can make this as R3 and R4. Now, how to make the key element as 1? So the key element can be made as 1 if I divide R3, which is defined as initially it was R1. If each of the element in the R1 is divided by 10, I will get 1 in the pivot element, key element. That is, we have 5. If you take the first row, we have 5, 10, 1, 0, 60. If we divide each of this element by 10, I will get 1 in the pivot element. So we have 5, 10, 1, 0, and in the solution space we have 60. So what we need to do, I need to bring R3 here such a way that R3 is R1 by 10. So original R1 is here, this one. Now I am dividing each by 10. So which means 5 by 10 amounts to 1 by 2. Now here I am dividing 10 by 10, which is equal to 1. So this is what we want. So key pivot element or key element is made as 1 here. So key element is made as 1 here. Now here 1 by 10, which is equal to 1 by 10. So here it is 0 by 10 is equal to 0, and this is 60 by 10, which is equal to 6. Now we need to fill the values here. So this will be 1 by 2, this is 1, this is 1 by 10, and this is 0, and this is 6. Now if you go back to the initial iteration, so key column is x2 and key row is s1, which means in the second iteration x2 is entering the solution and S1 will leave the solution. Okay. So I'll repeat again. If you look at the initial iteration, so key column is x2. Therefore, x2 will be entering the solution. Initially, we made s1 and s2 as the basic variable initially. Now, key column is x2. Therefore, x2 will enter the solution. Here, what will leave here? S1 will leave the solution. So S1 goes, instead of S1, S2 will come here, and here we have S2. Now in the coefficient of basic, so we need to fill the values of x2. So the values of x2 is 8, bring it here, and s2, it is 0 again. I'll repeat again. If you look at the key column in the first initial iteration, key column is x2 column, which means x2 will enter the solution here, and what will leave? So key row s1. So in the place of s1, I need to bring x2 here. In the place of s1, I need to bring x2 here. So that's what I did here. Right. So R3 is filled up. R3 is, we have 8. This is from the quotient of the basic. 8. X2 comes into the solution. We have 1 by 2, 1, 1 by 10, 0 and 6. And how about R4? So for R4, so let me erase this thing and let me take R4. Now here we need to define the R4. Now in the R4, since this is made as 1, the corresponding element in that column should be made as 0. Now x2 is the key element or key column in the previous iteration. So we made this as 1, which means the corresponding element, whatever it may be, in that column should be made as 0. Therefore, this should be made as 0. How that can be made as 0? How it can be made as 0? So if you go back to the initial simplex table, we have 4 here. Therefore R4, how we can make this as 0 is, so we have initially R2. This R2 is, initially we have R2, so minus 4R3. So this will make this element as 0. Okay, Okay. Now in the second row we have 4, 4, 0, 1, 40. That is, we have 4, 4, 0, 1 and 40. You go back and see second row, 4, 4, 0, 1 and 40. So what I need to do, I need to get new values. New values here, such a way that R4 is R2 minus. So these are R2s, original R2s. Here I am going to do the computation, this simple computation. Okay, 4R3. So what is the place in R3 here? We have 1 by 2. So bring 1 by 2 here. Now for the second element we have 1 here. So bring 1 here. Now for the third we have 1 by 10. So bring 1 by 10 here. Now next we have 0. Next we have 6. So next we need to compute this value. 4 minus 4 into half, which amounts to 2. Bring 2 here. Next 4 into 4 minus 1, 0. So this is what we want. So it is here, like, so in the key element or in the pivot element, it will be made as 1, and the corresponding values in the key column will be made as 0. So for this we did this computation, that is R4 is equal to R2 minus 4R2. So next we have 0 minus 4 into 1 by 10, which amounts to minus 2 by 5. So right here, minus 2 by 5. Next 1 minus 4 into 0. So this will be 1 here. Next the solution column, 40 minus 40 minus 4 into 6, that is what 40 minus 26, which amounts to 16 here. Next we need to find z of j as we did in the previous case. So z of j is basically we need to multiply 8 with half plus 0 into 2. So 8 into half plus 0 into 2, which amounts to 4. Now for the second one, 8 into 1 plus 0 into 0, which amounts to 8. For the third column, 8 into plus 1 by 10. Let's say 8 by 10, which is basically 4 by 5 plus 0 into minus 2 by 5. So which amounts to 4 by 5 here. That is 8 into 1 by 10 plus 0 into minus 2 by 5. Next is 8 into 0 plus 0 into 1, which is 0. And the solution, we have 8 into 6, 48 minus 0 into 16. So it is 48 here. Next we need to find Cj minus z of j. So if you find Cj minus z of j, 6 minus 4, it is 2 here. 8 minus 8, it is 0 here. 0 minus 4 by 5, which amounts to minus 4 by 5. 0 minus 0, 0 here. Now what we need to check? We need to check whether all the values of Cj minus z of j is less than or equal to 0 for maximization type. Now if you look at the last thing, we have 0 minus 4 by 5, 0, which is satisfying. So we have a positive value. There is only one positive value. Therefore, that can be taken as key column. So let me change the color for better understanding. So that can be taken as key column. Okay. So we have only one column, so which amounts to positive value. Therefore, this is a key column. Now the key column corresponds to, if you go back, it corresponds to x1, which means in the next iteration x1 will enter. Now in the key column we have these values. So we need to do something with the solution to get ratio. So ratio is 6 by 6 is the solution, 6 by 1 by 2 in the solution, 6 by 1 by 2, which is 12. Now here it is 16 by 2, which amounts to 8. Now in the ratio, we need to look for the least value as we did in the previous iteration. So 8 is the least, therefore this is taken as key row. So we have key column x1, we have key row which is s2, which means x1 enters and s2 will leave the solution in the next iteration. Now the intersection of key column and key row is 2. This is the pivot element or key element. So this key element should made us 2. Now for that we need to go to the iteration 2. So iteration 2 is so x1 enters the solution and s1 leaves. We can see here x1 is the key column which will be entering and s2 is the key row which will be leaving. So x1 enters and s2 will leave. So earlier we have x2 as the solution. So have as such, instead of s2 we have x1 here. Now we need to get CBI from this thing. So for x1 it is 6. For x2 it is E8. Bring it here. Now we can call this as row 5. We can call this as row 6. Now in the row 5, now in the row, not row 5, in the row 6, in the row 6 we need to make this as 1. We need to make this as 1. So this is the pivot element. This is the pivot element. Okay, how that can be done? So row 6 can be computed like this. That is row 4 by 2. Row 4 by 2. So the original values of row 4 are, you can observe, 2, 0, minus 2 by 5, 1 and 16. So right here 2, 0, 2, 0, minus 2 by 5 and 1, minus 2 by 5, 1 and 16. So what we need to do? So we need to divide each by 2. So 2 by 2 is 1, done here. So this is 0 by 2, 0. So this is minus 2 by 5 by 2, minus 2 by 5 by 2, which is minus 1 by 5, minus 1 by 5. So right here minus 1 by 5 here. So next is 1 by 2, which is 1 by 2. So bring it here, 1 by 2, and the last one 16 by 2, which amounts to 8. Bring it here. Next, since this is this one, since this is the pivot element, now this should be made as 0. This should be made as 0. So how that can be done? So let me erase this thing and let me compute for R5. Let me compute for R5. Let me compute for R5. Initially we have values as R3 as half, 1, 1 by 10, 0 and 6. 1 by 2, 1, 1 by 10, 0 and 6. 0 and 6. Okay. 6. Now here what I need to do is, I need to make this as 0. I need to make this as 0. So how I can do is, I can calculate R5 as, R3 minus R6 by 2. So these are R3 values. Now I am dividing that with R6 by 2. So R6 is 1 by 2 minus 0 by 2, minus of minus, it will be plus, 1 by 5 by 2, it will become 1 by 10, and this is, so 0 minus 1 by 2 by 2, 1 by 2 by 2. So this will be 6 minus 8 by 2. So this will be 0, done here. 1 minus 0 by 2, that is 1. Bring it here. 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10, it is 2 by 10, which amounts to 1 by 5. Bring it here. 0 minus 1 by 2 by 2, it will be minus 1 by 4, which is minus 1 by 4, and this is here minus 1 by 4, and 6 minus 4 by 2, that is 2 here. So bring it here. That's it. So we are done. Next is we need to find z of j. So 8 into 0 plus 6 into 1, which is 6. Next 8 into 1 plus 6 into 0, which is 8. 8 into 1 by 5 plus 6 into minus 1 by 5, which amounts to 8 by 5 minus 6 by 5, which amounts to 2 by 5. This is 8 into minus 1 by 4 plus 6 into 1 by 2, which amounts to 1 after computation. And last 8 into 2, 16 plus 6 into 8, it is 64. Next is the last one. We need to find Cj minus z of j. So if you compute 6 minus 6, 0, 8 minus 8, 0, 0 minus 2 by 5, it is minus 2 by 5, 0 minus 1, minus 1. Now again we need to check Cj minus z of j is equal to less than or equal to 0. Yes, we have everything now. Therefore, this is optimal. I can say optimality is reached. Optimality is reached. Optimality is reached. Now the solution is, no need to find ratio and other things. So once it is reached, now the solution is, so we have x1 and x2 in the solution space. We have x1, x2. Sorry, a value of x1 is 8 here, value of x1 is 8 here, and value of x2 is here, 2. Okay, so x1 equal to 8 and x2 equal to 2. This will give maximum ZS. Maximum ZS. Again, we need to compute. So we have done something here, which is 64. Which is 64 here. Okay. So this is the solution. So x1 equal to 8, x2 equal to 2, and this x1 and x2 are taken from here. X1 and x2 are taken from here. Then we have S1, S2. Since S1 and S2 are not in the solution itself, therefore this S1 and S2 are taken as 0. Therefore, max Z equal to 64 with x1 as 8, x2 as 2, then S1, S2 as 0. So this is how we solve the problem. So this is the solution for the simplex method.